Welcome into the CHGO Bulls Postgame Show presented to you by PointsBet. Don't forget that promo code CHGO when you sign up to live your bet life. Look at it right here on the hoodie. PointsBet. I'm Peck. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. My guys, Big Dave at Bow BWL Sports and Will the GOAT at Will_Gottlieb on Twitter. We are CHGO_Bulls. We got our pal, our producer hanging out with us, Joey. What up, Joe?
Yeah.
Hey guys.
That was my Joey.
Was that your impression?
That was my Joey right there.
We've got a visitor in studio, Will. Tell the people who our visitor is.
My dude, Nezzy. Nezzy has come to check us out in studio. Glad to hear Nez.
It's very nice. That was a very nice thing he said.
It's always nice to have another person watching
He's in
some
town.
Bulls
He was
games
like,
with us.
I watch your show. I want to come hang out with you guys and watch the game.
In town? Where you from?
He's from here, but he lives in Denver. We grew up together.
Okay. Any stories?
Ooh.
None for on air.
Tell us later. Tell us
None
later.
for on air.
Hey, all right.
Mm-hmm. The GOAT is the GOAT.
Mm-hmm. But it's funny. You can vouch for me. Jacob was definitely goat lead, like way before I was. It's a
family thing. Okay.
Family
right.
business.
Family of goats.
Nickname runs in the family.
Yeah,
Goat
but-
herders. All right.
Trying to
Yeah,
keep you
but
guys in the loop if
does
you can here.
Jacob, have insider access to talk to all these NBA players?
I've become goat lead, but he was.
Okay.
Jacob's got a nasty team in the Dynasty League.
Yes, he does.
Nasty.
He does. Nez's team is, I would say, the best team.
Didn't even know Nez was in the league. Learning something new every day.
He's got Jokic, Mobley, Franz Wagner.
All right, Bulls talk.
Bulls talk.
Fantasy.
The comments are already popping off with the two most important things from tonight's game, you guys, which other than the Bulls getting another preseason win under their belts, is that Andre Drummond is apparently the best three-point shooter in the NBA.
Yep.
Facts.
And Javonte Green is not made of human parts, but magic parts.
All this is true.
What the hell was that dunk?
Dunk.
My God.
That dunk and that second half. Like, he was just locked in. And
After a DNP first half.
Yeah, I just thought he was going to sit out, like just the same way Dragic did. I just thought he was going to relax, chill on out, let the young guys, get their time. And he's like, no, I'm going to come in and play and take over the entire game and do a dunk from almost the free throw line during a game. It was impressive, man.
It really does make me feel like Billy is being honest and genuine when he says that he wants to just see what some of these rotations look like because he started Derek Jones tonight. Obviously, Javonte started in the last game and then started the second half with the starters this game. And then, obviously, Patrick in the first preseason game. I think he just wants to see what the best fit is. And it's clearly Javonte. Javonte is the best player of the bunch right now. Yeah. Like, without a doubt.
Yeah, it's like that lineup needs, especially I'm talking the starting lineup.
Yeah.
They need that guy who's going to be the slasher, who's going to be the cutter, who's going to play without the ball, but who also can bring that fire and aggression and those easy buckets.
And I'm sure we'll talk about it. I know Mark and I will talk about it when we do our show. But, like, Patrick, just take a page out of this Javonte book and do some of what he is doing because the people will love you for it, and you will be a star role player, which is what they need Patrick to be.
Right. And we all know that the plus-minus column of the stat sheet doesn't necessarily tell the whole story on any random night.
Sure.
But tonight, Javonte in 15 minutes poured in 17 points on 7 of 8 and was a team best plus 25.
Jesus.
Patrick, young Patrick, in 21 minutes scored 6 points on 1 of 8 and was a -7.
Yeah, he struggled. He definitely struggled with his shot, with finding himself within the game as well, man. He just didn't look comfortable at all just watching him, but Javonte definitely did. And also 2 or 3 from the three-point line was Javonte, man. Like
with
3
a 4-point play.
Game. Right, with a 4. Right. Hit 3 or 3 last game, 2 or 3 this game. I said it when we were doing the end of the season evaluations. If Javonte Green gets a three-pointer, he can write his ticket in the NBA. So it's good to see him getting this shot, man, because it's just going to make the Bulls better and more lethal if he can shoot threes.
Yeah, and going back to Patrick for a second, the thing that I think was disappointing for me was that he really did look more comfortable playing with that second unit in the last game against the Nuggets, and he felt totally out of place, even with the second unit today. So I don't know if that's regression. I don't know if it's just situation. He mentioned really liking playing with Dragic because he can kind of organize and sort of put him in the right spots, but really disappointing game from Pat.
And what I didn't like is he did the same thing I complained about the first game was the move was aggressive, but the finish was not. Like he makes the aggressive move. He gets to the bucket.
Yeah, he got fouled on a couple of those where he
did.
He thought he could just dunk it anyway.
But it was right there where he could just put that in and dunk it, or at least attempt the dunk. Like I think him attempting it does a lot and says a lot, as far as giving energy to your team, seeing you playing with that fire and everything like that. Like going up for the layup is cool, it's smooth, but I like it for the guards. You know what I mean? Like when you're built like him and you make a power move like that, you should finish a power move with a power finish.
Yeah, and we're at the point where we're like, I'm glad he even went up for it.
Right.
Like, I'm glad he went into the lane.
No, seriously. I enjoyed the fact he was making the moves, but I need him to finish. Go all the way, bro. No half measures.
So Schwo in the comments here asking the all-important question.
Thank you very much.
What does Javonte playing like this mean for P. Will? Are we calling the number 4 pick a bust?
No, it's the preseason.
See, I hate using that little 4-letter word, B-U-S-T. Mm-hmm. I think, and like Will, you were kind of saying this along similar lines while we were watching this game earlier tonight. It's like, if Patrick isn't a automatic plug-and-play starter who is a game changer in years 1, 2, and 3 of his NBA career as a former number 4 overall pick, that doesn't necessarily mean bust. It means not what I think the Bulls and Bulls fans were hoping for and some of us were expecting. Those are not, that doesn't necessarily mean bust.
He's definitely, I mean, the jury's just still out. People, like in my comments today, in my mentions or whatever, people were saying, like, he's only 21, he missed his second year. It's really only his second year. And, like, that's not true. It's his third year. He missed some time due to injury. Yes, he's 21. There are a lot of young players that are contributing at a high level. You think of Tyrese Halliburton, Tyrese Maxey, plenty of players, just those two off the top of my head, who are, like, really contributing to high-level teams at that young age. So it's not just that he's young. It's that he still needs time to figure it out. And I am not giving up on him. Like, if anything, I think this just puts into perspective for me more that it's going to take more time because he clearly just doesn't understand the game yet. And we were also kind of talking about this. It's not that he's dumb or low IQ. It's just that he hasn't developed the way to read the game yet. And that takes longer for some guys than it does for others. You obviously see the tools there. He's a hard worker. I think it will come together, but it's so difficult for him in this role. And that's why it was even more disappointing for me what I was saying about him not really looking like he fit with the second unit because the first unit, I think, is not really maximizing his skill set.
I agree.
But the second unit really has to. That's where it's like no excuses, and tonight it wasn't there.
Because that's the unit. The second unit is the unit you're going to see where you want to see him flourish as far as
he's going to get the ball,
getting the ball, being able to bring it up, do all those things. It feels like he needs the ball and needs to know he's engaged. Like he can't just come down and set up in the corner because it feels like he just, gets lost and forgets he's out there. So you can do those things in the second unit. And the fact that you didn't see them, it was disheartening. But again, preseason. So I'm really, really chilling on this.
I mean, it is preseason perspective. I think tonight presented an interesting and different challenge for the Bulls, and they certainly struggled in that first half because, my goodness, this Raptors team is long, and they defend and defend and defend.
Yeah.
The Bulls had, what was it, I believe 14 first-half turnovers, and they cleaned that up a little bit, and were able to get some more fluid offense going in the second half. But, again, preseason, which is why I'm going to take this comment from Holding That Bag Recordings, who's saying, hey, remember Goat Will discrediting the Drummond signing? Detective eyeglass emoji. Are you calling out Will for not having the greatest joy and confidence in the Drummond signing because he was randomly 3 of 3 from downtown tonight? Hey, is that what you're saying?
And it's Goat Lieb, not Goat Will.
I'll take Goat Will. Didn't he just double his career output in threes made?
Yeah,
he did.
A career 13.2 3-point percent shooter, I believe.
And I've always said
who also blew 2 wide open layups tonight, but we won't mention that.
Right, missed the layups but hit the threes.
It's like what was that?
Okay, my whole thing about Drummond was I think he's an upgrade at backup center, obviously.
Yeah,
and the Bulls need that.
Yeah, sure.
As Dave said, real nice to see a DNP next to Tony Bradley's name tonight.
I think
very nice.
He's a clear upgrade. They gave him more money than they needed to. They gave him $300,000 more than the minimum, which cut into their mid-level exception, which means that they couldn't use that, which I think was bad business. And that was the only thing they did. That's what I was more angry about than Drummond himself. I think he's a fine player. I think he's going to be one of the better backups in the league. I have no problem with him. This 3-point shooting is out of nowhere. Nobody could have seen that coming.
Although this man right here has been at practice for the last week or so, posting vids of Drummond just swishing threes.
He's been hitting them. And also, I think he's like a 45% free throw shooter. He just like, these guys are so good. They're just like making every single shot in shoot around. And then in the games, it's totally different. It's wild. So
weird. Outside of Pat, if you were to point out one Bull who did look to be struggling tonight, it's our guy, Zach LaVine. He was a fairly inefficient 3 of 9 and 2 of 6 from behind the 3-point line tonight for just 9 points. Also, 5 of those 14 first-half turnovers belonged to Zach LaVine.
16 first half, I thought.
Wow, 16?
Yeah.
They had 2 more in the last 30 seconds after I wrote down 14?
maybe I'm wrong.
We know the whole Zach LaVine has an issue with turnovers thing. It's been part of who Zach LaVine is as a Bull and an NBA player who is ascending to stardom and has certain weaknesses that you can point to in his game. I'm not going to grill Zach for having a bad night with 5 turnovers and a cold shooting night. I still see Zach as someone who is knocking off some off-season rust.
Yeah.
A guy who had not played any 5-on-5 this summer until the first day of training camp.
Yeah.
Looked a little rusty tonight, has looked a little hesitant as far as when to pick his spots, when to pick his shots through these first 3 preseason games. But then he shows you something where you're like, oh, yeah, no, that's one of the most athletically gifted and smart and just unstoppable offensive weapons in the NBA right now. It's Zach. He'll be fine. That's how I feel even after watching a game like that from Zach tonight. What about you guys?
It's Zach LaVine. Like, why am I concerned about anything? It's Zach LaVine. Everything you just said is the reason. Hasn't played in a very long time. Even when he got back on the court in practice, he was like, oh, man, I feel pretty good out here. He was shocked at how good he felt because he hadn't played, as you said, in such a long time. So, no, completely not concerned about Zach LaVine. I didn't like the fact that he didn't get to the free throw line because, DeMar, that's what he's going to do. He went, I think he was 7-7, DeMar was, from the free throw line. But Zach only got there twice. I want that to continue to increase because that was one of the main things I talked about coming into this season was the fact that he was starting to get to the line a lot more and starting to get those calls a lot more. As after the All-Star break, he started getting those calls. So I want to see that part continue. But as far as his shooting, getting to the paint and all that other stuff, look, man, as long as he's up and down the court and I see that athleticism, I don't care if he goes 1 for 90 in the preseason. I don't give a damn. It's Zach LaVine. He'll be ready to go when the season starts because if it's anybody that puts that effort and that work in like DeMar does, it is definitely Zach LaVine.
Yeah, I mean, he clearly is still just coming back from this surgery that he had this summer that people are still not talking about really because I think the Lonzo stuff has just totally overshadowed it. But Zach had a very similar procedure on his knee. It seems like he's totally fine, but it's just still shaking off the rust, like you said, Matt. So what was concerning to me about it was just, I mean, actually, this didn't really concern me at all. It was just the Raptors' length made it so difficult for him. He got 2 jumpers blocked. He did that move where he drove left and then did the like deceleration fadeaway step at the rim to try to draw the foul. Didn't get it. Got that blocked. So it's just, I think it's a timing thing. It's this particular matchup being difficult for him. But I thought in the second half, he started to play that little 2-man game with Vooch. Yeah. And I thought that looked a lot better. So he'll get there. He's just not quite there yet.
Yeah. Just don't be concerned. He'll be fine.
A couple of people in the comments addressing this Zach discussion. Erase the hate, saying Zach has lost a step after surgery. Next year, he will be at full strength. I don't even think it's a, well, this season's a lost cause for Zach LaVine because what he looks like in 3 preseason games. I think it's very possible, if not likely, that we will see full-strength Zach LaVine in like a week.
Yeah.
Let the man knock off some rust in some preseason games.
Seriously, man.
Erase the hate continuing, saying Zach LaVine has no lift on his jumper. You should never see him get his shot blocked twice. He's also playing below the... Will just said, these are some of the longest, most talented and athletic defenders in the NBA. These Toronto Raptors that we saw tonight. Maybe Zach's timing is a little off. You assuming that Zach's just going to be playing at less than 100% for the entirety of this season based off of him getting a couple shots blocked tonight is Wild.
Listen, man, he is chilling.
Wild to me.
He is the definition of chilling.
Right.
He's out there on the floor, dog.
Speaking of him being chilling, I love this comment from Colin, who said, Zach's a little preoccupied right now trying to buy a private island, a helicopter, and a Rolls Royce. He'll have all that taken care of by the start of the season. I assume you are referring to the man's brand new contract,
yes.
which, once again, congratulations, Mr. LaVine.
And a newborn child.
I was going to say, I don't know if he has time to go yacht shopping because that man is the father of a new baby.
Yeah, he'll lock in when it's time. I swear, if it's anybody, I'm not worried about it. I'm more worried, and I'm not worried about Patrick. I'm more worried about Patrick than I am about Zach LaVine, or I ever will be about Zach LaVine, man. Mm-hmm. No, he's good. He'll be fine. I can't wait till the season kicks off for him, man, so he can showcase those talents. Because I promise he won't be doing some of the things that we're seeing in the preseason in the regular season. He just won't. We won't see that much of ball handling from Zach LaVine that we're seeing here in this preseason. Because, again, like you said, we know what he is when he handles the ball. Like, usually it'll be a turnover. It's the two-man game, like Will mentioned, with Vooch. That's where he's at his peak. It's going to be him going one-on-one, hitting those three-pointers that look like water. That's when he's Zach LaVine, man. So once you see that and get into that, then you'll be fine, man. But remember when he hurt his thumb last season? It took him a second, right? You know what I mean? It took him a little bit of time. They were like, man, Zach's struggling. Like, dude, his thumb fell off. Like get that man let him get it together. He'll be fine.
Even if it does take some time, the goal is not to like peak in the first 20 games of the season like they did last year. We know what happens.
Yeah.
Like they need to progress to the point where hopefully Lonzo is back. We get like a healthy and rested DeMar leading into the playoff push in the playoffs. Zach will get there. I'm not worried about it at all.
At all. Dude, I'm one of the people who watched all Bulls preseason games over the years. I remember the year when we first started outside and they got Otto Porter Jr. and that whole team and what they looked like in that preseason. And they were running cats off the floor. And Otto Porter Jr. was out of control. And we were like, yes. And then it was like, oh, yeah, it's preseason. He used up
all his minutes in the preseason.
Yeah, it's preseason. Yes. And it did not continue. All right. So just relax, man. Everybody can't be like a DeMar DeRozan in the preseason.
At the same time, though, it is nice to see when players play good. Like you can assign a reason that Zach isn't playing great, and I think the injury and recovery is probably the biggest piece of that. But like DeMar and Vooch look great.
Oh, they do look great.
And like you'd much rather
DeMar just had a chill 21-8-8 tonight.
Yeah, just chilling.
He's so good.
And it was funny, but Vooch, I think with that, Vooch is one out you wanted to see it from more so than I wanted to see it from Zach. Like I wanted to see Vooch's three-point shot be better.
Right.
Like I wanted him to look more engaged defensively. Like I wanted to see those things. I just wanted to see Zach run. That's it. Just run up and down the floor and look cool. Like, and he's doing that quite awesomely, man. He looks really cool running up and down the floor. He'll put the ball in the bucket when it's time.
Yeah, not concerned. Somebody else in the comments, Ryan, asking about Dragic not dressing. DNP old. I don't think that there's anything really going on there. Did you hear anything about?
Yeah, Billy mentioned a few times that he wants to use the preseason as a way to like ramp people up, right? I mean, I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but like these guys have four preseason games and then a week off before they play Miami to start the regular season. They need to use this time to like get in shape. I think for guys like Zach specifically, for Vooch, Patrick, some of the younger guys, like they need to get in shape. With DeMar and with Dragic, who played all summer long, who are already in game shape and are a little bit older, they're going to take it a little bit easier. And I think Dragic especially, I mean, he's 36. Like, he does not need to be running around for 25, 26 minutes a night in a preseason game against the Raptors. Like,
he went to Billy Donovan like, dude, come on.
And
like, bro.
And Billy is empowering Dragic to make that decision.
Yeah.
And Dragic wants to be out there. Like, this guy loves playing basketball. So they're taking it seriously, and I think they're doing it the right way. Like, again, they need to be ready at the end of the season, not the beginning. So they need to like take it slow, be gradual about it. They need to win games. They need to get to the end of the season.
Yeah.
But I think if everybody is healthy and at their peak at the right time, they will be happy.
And I think I forgot about that point that you made about DeMar, that he's been basically playing all season long.
Played for free all summer.
All summer, man. So, yeah, he's going to look like he's going to look right now because he's ready. You know what I mean? And Zach hasn't played, and those guys haven't been out there playing. But he definitely has, and you're right about that for sure.
All right, plenty more to get to on tonight's CHGO postgame coming off the Bulls' 113-98 win over the Raptors. We'll get to as many more of your comments as we can, in addition to talking about this starting power forward carousel in preseason, and I'm sure my guy Big Dave wants to talk about what we saw from our guy Coby White tonight. All that and more coming up next But first, today's episode brought to you guys by our wonderful friends at PointsBet, which is bringing you a better way to bet live on games. It means you can put a live same-game parlay, bet on the next drive to be a touchdown, and cash out on your live second-half overbet. With PointsBet, you have access to more live football markets than ever before. And if the Bears are going to let you down, as we all knew they would and did today, at least make some dollars.
I wasn't let down. I knew this was going to happen the whole time I was watching. I'm like, they're not winning.
What did I say as we were signing off of Friday's postgame show? We'll see you back here to wrap out the weekend on a high note with a Bulls preseason victory after the Bears let us down.
Yeah, it was going to happen, man.
Duh.
As soon as they called that touchdown back, I was like, this game's over.
Right.
They ain't winning this.
But PointsBet Lightning Bets will never let you down. Yeah. Hello? Build a perfect live same-game parlay by combining your favorite bets anytime during the game, including spreads, totals, player props, and more. So whether you're on the move or on the couch, do it live with PointsBet. Yep,
Couch
that's
bet.
right.
Couch.
Download the PointsBet app today and sign up with that promo code CHGO to get your 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER for crisis counseling and referral services. Justin, I like the way you played today, young man. Keep it up.
I did too. I like the way the whole team played, actually. I like the way the Bears
Showed
played.
some fight.
I did.
And then let us down.
And then let us down. Oh, right this way, sir.
Let me show you to your loss. Is a 7th-string wide receiver none of us have ever heard of
Oh, my
causing
God.
a game-ending fumble
I know
instead of getting out of bounds?
You know why he didn't have that strength? Because somebody didn't have their athletic greens today.
Oh, what a transition.
Did
into ad
not
number
have
2.
his greens. I know what he was thinking when that ball was being snatched from him. He was thinking I should have had those 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source, superfoods, probiotics, and oh, my God, sweet Georgia Brown. The adaptogens. Yes. Help you start your day correctly. That is Athletic Greens, y'all. Special blend of ingredients that support your gut health, nervous system, immune system, your energy, recovery, your focus, and your aging. All those things that your body needs taken care of. And it costs you less than $3 a day. It's cheaper than that cold brew habit that you got. It's cheaper than getting all those different supplements yourself. You are investing in that all-in-one nutritional insurance, y'all. Vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free, less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals, no artificial anything.
Anything?
Does all this while still tasting good. Don't take my word for it, though. Don't even take the word of this wonderful Burks having hat-wearing gentleman over here who grows a beard in 3 days. Don't take his word.
Why do you think he grows a beard in 3 days?
It's the greens.
It is the greens and the meat and the greens. But this man over here, the perfectly coiffed, wonderfully talented, the GOAT lead. Sir, are you enjoying your athletic greens?
I'm enjoying my greens. I think my biggest greens accomplishment is that Matthew Peck also started taking greens.
You're a trendsetter, Will.
That's what goats do.
taste-
I had him today.
That's what goats do, man.
Really helped my hangover.
That's what they do. They set trends, man. By the way, dope shoes, by the way, Will. And to make it easy for you guys, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of that immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 of those free travel packs with your first purchase. All you got to do is visit athleticgreens.com /CHGO Bulls. That's athleticgreens.com /CHGO Bulls to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Because it's Athletic Greens. You scoop it, you dump it, you shake it, you drink it. GOAT.
You feel it.
Alex liked that one.
He's like, that's it. I'm here. We're good.
Before we move on to this whole Javonte, DJJ, Pat carousel, before we move on from Zach, I see one more person in the comments here. Reggie.
Hey, Reggie.
LaVine is washed.
Oh, okay. Right
Really?
on.
That's what you're going to bring to the table?
My man, Reggie.
That's what you're going to bring to the table. LaVine is washed. Care to expand upon that
No.
in any way?
Why?
Garbage. Rethink your life choices before you contribute to the conversation again. LaVine is washed.
Thanks for tuning in.
Appreciate you tuning in. Hit that thumbs
Appreciate
up
you being
button.
here.
Your comment is junk. All right,
I
guys.
feel you, Reggie. I feel you, bro.
So AK is asking in the comments, is Javonte going to start over P. Will or Derrick Jones Jr. when the regular season starts? And, you know, before I toss this to you, Will, Billy did have a little bit of context as far as the reason for the change tonight, saying, well, I know what Javonte is going to give me every night. I don't need to see Javonte in the starting lineup again in preseason because saw it, know it, love it, great. Want to take another look at something different, and that's why they threw Derrick Jones Jr. in the starting lineup tonight. I mean, do you think Billy is close to coming to a final decision on who's going to be out there game 1 for reals against Miami on the 19th?
Can you repeat the first sentence you said of that quote?
No.
Okay, well, I can tell you what it was. I know what I'm going to get from Javonte.
There you go.
He knows what he's going to get, and it's the best option. I mean, that's just what it is. I like that he tried Derrick Jones. Obviously, I want to see more of him. I think that the way that the Bulls are trying to I'm still laughing at the fact that you said no.
No. What do you think this is?
The way that the Bulls are trying to like balance the floor right now with Vooch in the corner, I think opens up Derrick Jones to a lot of driving, cutting lanes up the middle. And he's a very good passer in short roll situations.
He is.
So
that's true.
I think it actually does cater. Obviously, he can like go up and get you a lob. I think he could be really good in that situation. I don't think he played super well in the first half, but as you always say, Billy is not beholden to any lineup. So he's going to try stuff, and I love that.
Yeah, and seeing Derrick Jones Jr. out there with starting lineup just further bolstered my point that I've been thinking that that's kind of what that 4 position has to be for that team in the starting lineup. The guy that's the slasher, the cutter, the passer, and somebody not worried about scoring. Like, that's just what it feels like, you know what I mean, when you watch it, because he fits kind of seamlessly when he was in there at the 4, and then I thought of Javonte immediately and how he fits in there seamlessly with his slashing and cutting and dunking from the three-point line and stuff like that. But, yeah, man, like, I I like the fact that Derrick Jones Jr. Is on the team. He always just makes me feel better because I'm like, man, this is a good safety valve to have. You know, whether I need somebody at the 3 or the 4 or the 5, I can plug him right there, and I'll be okay. You know, I'm not saying I'm getting 13, 14 points from him, but I can definitely steal some minutes. I might get a block or two. He's a underrated shot blocker in my opinion. He blocks a lot of shots for me. But I like him, and I want him also to get his 3-point shooting together as well. Because I remember how lethal the Bulls was again in that first half when he was shooting his 40% from that baseline. And then in that second half, then he could not hit anything. But hopefully he stays healthy because that's another thing that was holding him back last season. It was his health. So, yeah, man,
it was his health, and it was also, and this is a thing we touched on after last game, it was his health and it was his shooting.
Sure.
The fact that he was hitting everything from the corners was like really lifting his confidence. It makes all these cutting lanes even more dangerous because now players are, you know, attacking closeouts a little bit harder. And when he's shooting like that, it's like just everything's clicking because you have the best of all the options, right? You have the slashing and lob catching ability that Derrick Jones has. You have the shooting at the 4 that in theory Patrick gives you, although it's on low volume. You have the passing ability that you get through some combination of Derrick Jones and Pat. So he gives you a little bit of everything. And when that shooting is working, it's clear that he's the best option.
Yeah.
He's really popping right now. And as the season went on and he was playing, you know, 25, 28 minutes a game instead of 18, 20, which is probably the range where he works best, it started to fade. And so I think they need to be judicious with how they use him and make sure that he's not just out there for 36 minutes a night. But he's clearly the best option right now.
Vocab wheel is my favorite. Dropped you dishes on you, baby.
Did you have that reaction to him just using the word judicious?
I did, man. You know how, like, man, you know me. I'm a wordsmith, man. So yes, when people drop that stuff like that, yes.
Another way to simplify this whole conversation about Javonte maybe getting this starting job over Pat is Laura Lou in the comments, who just said Javonte Green is the damn truth.
That is facts.
And then follow that up with maximum contract for Javonte. I'm sure you're joking, but for real, after that dunk, he can have all of my money. It's not a lot, but he can have all of it. Goodness gracious. So there were also some fun Billy small ball lineups again tonight, Will, which is, I know, something that you are a proponent of as well.
This is true.
I think somebody in the comments was mentioning one of them in particular. Here, Connor, who said, I really like that small ball lineup with Javonte, Coby, and Terry. Now, let's use that as a jumping off point. Big Dave, you have been our Coby rah-rah person so far in preseason. He had another really solid game, I thought, tonight.
I'm joining you on Coby rah-rah.
Will is on board, too.
I'm there.
And I've also seen a lot of people in the comments tonight saying, hey, Dalen Terry, play him. And after one of his impressive plays towards the back end of tonight's action, I jumped up out of my seat and said the same damn thing.
He did. And well, let me start with Coby.
Start with Coby.
So what I talked about when we were breaking down Coby White and showing the things he does well and, things that he needs to work on is I talked about how he was growing as someone who's a facilitator, basically saying if his shot isn't working, then that doesn't mean he's just useless on the floor. He's working on other things to be on the floor and be better at. Tonight was definitely one of those nights that you saw that because he had 7 points and 3 of 10 shooting, 1 of 5 from the 3-point line, but he had 6 assists and 4 rebounds. All right.
Did also have 4 turnovers.
Of course,
again,
he's going to have those turnovers. That's him.
Yeah.
I accept that as a part of who Coby.
And actually, I think at least one of those turnovers was not his fault. The other person he was running that play with.
Sure, but Coby's gonna get 4 turnovers. Like I just accept that. I really do. I just accept that. But it's the fact that him doing those things keeps him on the floor. Those passes he was making were awesome. Yeah. All right. Those were some really great passes, man. Great vision that he had. And again, Matt, I pointed out he loves being at the top of the key because he can survey everything. And then when he gets that pick and he's gone, if you roll with him, boom, that little bounce pad, the little pocket pass he'll hit you with all day long, man. I love the way he was doing that. And then sometime would pull up for the little mid-range shot. He would take that as well. But the shots he was taking, I didn't hate. That's the other thing. I thought they were all good shots. And they just weren't falling for him. But he forgot about them immediately. Now, I'd seen him in the past. You see it just wear on him, and then he's like going 1 on 5, you know what I mean, charging to everybody, turn it over, and now everyone hates me. Now he does it and completely forgets about it and goes right to the next play, or he goes right to playing defense, or, he just goes right to doing something on the floor to continue to help this team win. And that's growth from my man Coby White, man, and I appreciate seeing that.
I really like that you brought up that you liked the shots that he's getting, because I think that is such a big difference in the way that the offense is running this year compared to the way it was run last year, where they're moving. And that, as we've talked about before, he was known to be like a speedster transition, just like turn on the burners and get to the rim and transition guy in college. And he wasn't able to play that way. Yeah. And so now they're getting him coming off of screens. They're getting him out in transition. He's shooting. He's like playing aggressively. He's attacking the paint. And that's when the passing can start to come into play. I think he's reading the game a little bit better, which is a huge sign of growth for me. The shot making wasn't there, but as you said, like he was still having an impact, a positive impact on the game, whereas last year or previous seasons, he would not have done that. So I really liked what I've seen from him so far. The defense is still what it is. The turnovers are still what it is, but I really think that he's starting to understand how to get offense today in like this ecosystem, and I think that's a big step for him.
It is.
Do we think that Dalen Terry is going to squeeze his way into Billy's rotation?
Yep.
Based on what we've seen in these preseason games. Once again tonight, you watch him check into a game and he immediately puts his print on that game with a play on the defensive end or a play in transition. I mean, nothing that jumps out at you on his stat line tonight. He had 5 points on 2 of 3, did knock down one of his 3-point attempts, which was awesome to see. 3 assists, 2 boards. Also committed 4 fouls in 14 minutes.
I love it.
That's attending the school of Chris Dunn hard knocks.
Chris Dunn.
4 fouls in 14 minutes. But look, he's bringing some serious energy and allowing, as a member of some of those units we saw towards the back end of tonight's game, the Bulls to get out in transition and run and run and run instead of getting bogged down in their half-court sets. I still don't know, and based on what we've seen as far as when Billy has brought him in, because he didn't get in until garbage time on Friday. Tonight he subbed in with about 3 minutes left in the third quarter, so a little bit earlier in preseason game 3 than game 2. I'm not sure if Billy sees him actually being a part of this rotation. What about you guys?
I kind of think he does, but I'm only basing that off of what I saw last year with Ayo. Like, if Billy sees that you're doing the things the right way and how he wants it, and, you're playing with that intensity and your IQ is on point. Like, I think that's really key when Billy puts you in the game. As a rookie, like, your IQ has to be on point. I think if you have those things, he'll put you in the game. And, again, he's not beholden to any lineup. He will have no problem putting him out there in any situation and just seeing if he can thrive. He'll throw him to the fire. And it seems like Dalen Terry is ready to be thrown into the fire, man. He wants to be out there. The ball has energy, all right? People say it all the time. The ball has energy. Dalen Terry doesn't seek it. It just kind of finds him. You know what I mean? Like, he's just out there running, and he's like, oh, here's a basketball. There goes a pass right there. Oh, it goes a basketball. There goes a three right there. Oh, you've got the basketball? Here goes a foul. You know what I mean? Like, I love watching him play, man. I know Bulls Nation does too, man. But he's everything I continue to say he was, but he's doing it earlier than I thought he would.
I love what I've seen from Dalen. I feel very vindicated because he was one of my guys in the draft.
He was.
I think
number 3 on the list.
He's still like a ways away from like. I love what I saw from him in this lineup with Ayo and Javonte and Derek Jones and these guys that are just flying up and down and like making plays and stuff like that. I don't really see it as much in the lineup with Vooch and DeMar. Like I see him of more as that spark plug off the bench who's not necessarily like giving you buckets, but he's giving you offense. He's like juicing your offense. He's giving energy to your offense. I think he'll get there, but he needs time. He doesn't read the game quite as well as he needs to yet. So I think he'll be on the outer fringes of the rotation for a while, but I could definitely see him moving up the ranks because he's a player.
Yeah, and basically he doesn't have that half-court game yet.
Right, exactly.
Okay, got you.
Dre 5DS, whatever happened to Marco? Is he just a bench warmer? Is he getting better? He was an AK pick. What do you mean, what happened to him? He's sitting there. Yes,
right there,
he's a bench
chilling.
warmer. Will he play? Yeah. No. Windy City Bulls. And yes, he was.
Go be an all-star.
Yes, he was an AK
Get you another
pick.
20 and 10 out there in the Windy City.
Speaking of your comparison to what we're seeing from Dalen Terry and what we saw, the impressions Ayo made his rookie year, let's touch on Ayo as well before we get out of here tonight because I've seen some people talking about Ayo's game in the comments. We will get to you coming up next. But first, Big Dave, thoughts from GameTime?
Hoot.
180.
Yes.
From the normal Game Time.
That is the hottest new ticketing site. That makes it easier than ever to score the best deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows, even wrestling events. You know what, my man, Matt, you don't know this wrestler, but you look like Drew McIntyre. Joey, find me a picture
Should
of Drew
I take
McIntyre.
offense to that, or?
Yeah, find me a picture of Drew McIntyre and show it to Matt Peck. His beard reminds me of Drew McIntyre.
I don't like that one bit.
Ever dreamed of sitting in a seat that you thought you never could? 50-yard line, courtside, behind on plate, floor seats to a concert, sitting next to the GOAT. Can you do those things? But it's all possible with the GameTime app. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats you thought you could never buy. You won't find better deal on Bulls tickets this season.
Oh, how dare you.
You ain't going to find it. All right. It is created by the fans, and it is for the fans, and it guarantees the lowest prices. So if you love what we do here at CHGO, then you will love GameTime. The best way to support us is by buying your tickets through the link in that description. Make sure you hit that like first, and then click that link through the description, y'all. Join over 15 million people who have downloaded the GameTime app and score the best deals and the best seats to all your favorite events. Because, Matthew, what time is it?
Game Time. Who? I did that for you.
Yes.
In spite of the fact that I just saw Joey's Google search image results just now of this Drew McIntyre fella.
You don't think so?
And I am offended,
You're
sir.
offended? Did you see it, Will?
No, I did not.
Show Will Drew McIntyre.
Greasy-haired
take a look.
trash bag.
Take a look at Drew. Look, I'm just talking about the beard.
Hey, man, if you continue to have your athletic greens,
You think I can look
you might
like
have
that?
muscles just like Drew McIntyre.
He is super popular, man. Drew McIntyre is a very popular wrestler, former champion and all that. Straight from, where is he from? Scotland, I believe. That's where he's at. Ireland, one of those places. But yeah.
That's got to be roids. Don't trust that guy. Don't trust him.
This guy's whole deal is that he only eats like raw meat. He refuses to eat vegetables. He also refuses to eat cooked meat.
Okay.
He's referred to as the Liver King. I've compared you to him before.
Ah, okay.
He's a confirmed lunatic, but
Can we confirm that? Can we confirm that?
Confirmed by some sort of
Confirmed
MD
lunatic.
professional.
Yes.
he's confirmed it himself.
He's
Not
confirmed he's a
actually,
lunatic.
but yeah.
Well, obviously, but he works out, obviously.
It's clear whatever he's doing is working for him.
He has like
Was he
muscle
the
implants
ordained
or something.
officiant in his own ceremony confirming himself as such? as a lunatic?
I would think so, maybe. Would you hang out with him, Matt?
No.
Matt, he eats raw meat all the time, and he hates vegetables.
Okay, some of that is great and normal, and some of it is not. And that dude scares the bejesus out of me.
If you're that
kidding?
extreme about anything, it's just bad news.
Yeah.
He's got a point. That's a point.
Okay,
But
so
he'll eat your liver, so he doesn't care.
moving on
Eat it right
from
out of
Scary McIntyre, man. J-Lo in the comments said, any thoughts on Ayo's performance tonight? I'm sure we have plenty. Somebody was talking about paying Javonte Green in the comments, and shout out to my guy G Witt who said you're going to have to pay Ayo first. We were talking about paying Ayo while we were watching this game tonight, gentlemen.
Yeah, give Ayo his check. 14 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. That's honestly the stat line I want him to have, as the point guard, starting point guard of the team. If he's the starting point guard of the team, that's kind of what I would like him to have. The points maybe, but the rebounds and assists, that's kind of exactly where I want him. What I like so much about him is you can see he's worked on his shot. And you just see it confidently now when he shoots that three. And it's been water all preseason for him, man.
2 of 4 downtown tonight.
Awesome, man. Like, he has really been on point with that. And I like the fact that he realizes he has the ball. He's like, oh, no, if I'm the point guard, I got the ball, I'm going to do what I want. Okay, so at certain point in times, you'll see DeMar get 3 straight possessions. Whether he passes out of them or not, he'll get those possessions. But then you'll just see Ayo get the ball like, no, this is mine. I'm going to go do what I need to do. I'm going to the bucket, or I'm going to start this pick and roll, and then we're going to run the pick and pop, or we're going to run the pick and fade, whatever. It's my decision, and I like the decisiveness of Ayo when it comes to that.
Yeah, Billy has mentioned a couple of times of wanting him to feel empowered to just like get downhill.
Yeah.
Like right now, he's like bringing it up, and then he gives it to DeMar to set up the offense.
Yeah.
And I think you're totally right when you say, like, he needs to put his head down and get to the basket and like create a little bit more for himself. I was surprised to see that only I think 2 of his assists came in the second half. So he was doing it with the starters. Right. And it's still, I'm not like super confident in his jumper or anything like that. He's low volume the way Pat is.
Yeah.
But I thought there was improvement there, and he is clearly building confidence that way. And I think that's gonna take him really far, because he's one of those guys, unlike maybe a Coby or Dalen or Patrick, who came into the league already getting it, right? Like the IQ and again, I don't want to say IQ like those guys are dumb, but like it's just built-in understanding of how the NBA game works at the NBA level. And there's a learning curve there. And for some guys it takes longer. I think Ayo just got it coming in. Yeah. And you can start to see how that's really snowballing into him becoming like a really good player.
It's true. Very true.
Erase the Hate in the comments said Ayo is the best all-around point guard on the team, not named Lonzo. Defense, attacking the rim, shooting. He is the opening day starter. And I think if anything you can take from Billy's starting lineups in these preseason games is that he has been, switching things around at that 4 spot. Ayo has started every single one of these preseason games.
He has.
I do not see that changing.
I
don't think it should change.
No.
I was kind of leaning towards Caruso when we were getting closer to this season as far as the options that we had on hand, primarily for the defense and the leadership that you get from him. But honestly, everything that I've seen about Ayo in these preseason games reminds me that, yes, he's still a young player with some molding to do. Not raw, but just still needs his craft to get a little bit more refined in certain areas of his game. Sure. But is most often poised and then something good. But it's always poised and then this. Poised and his shot's gotten better, smoother, quicker. Poised and he's making plays in the half court. Poised and he's active on defense. Yeah. But it always starts with poised.
It's a great point. That's a really great point. And that's mental. You know what I mean? That's stuff that we talked about from him since he got here, just his IQ and his mental ability. He had that from game 1, all right? He was ready to go. It was just all physical for him after that. So, yeah, man, and this is the other reason why I said I didn't want Caruso starting. Just watching Caruso tonight dive on the floor, in the preseason game.
He's an animal.
Go get the ball. I'm like, we can't start him,
dude.
man. He can't start him. He's going to do that as soon as the ball tips off. He's going to be doing that stuff, man. I need him. I really, really need him. So, yeah, man.
We also need him out there doing that.
Yeah, I need exactly. Yeah. And I need him out there doing that but that's why I can't have him starting because he will do that from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And I need it later on also. So just give him his rest, man. Give him his time to get it together. But I really am enjoying, though, what I'm watching what Ayo's doing.
Yeah, and I think even just comparing it to Patrick for a second, like, I think it's really interesting to look at it from the perspective of how they're developing. And I think what I've seen so far is that Ayo is able to develop playing alongside DeMar and Zach because of the way that he plays. He's more comfortable shooting it. He has the ability to, like, get downhill when he wants. He's not, I don't want to say, like, unafraid, but he's, like, willing to be aggressive with the ball, whether it's starting the offense, organizing things, and he's still learning how to do that, but he's more comfortable doing that than Patrick is. Whereas Patrick, I think, has a better chance to develop playing alongside a more experienced point guard like Dragic, who can put him in his spots, teach him where to be.
Correct.
I think that's like a pretty unique distinction, and I think it's an important thing for Billy to learn right now because you still are trying to maximize both these guys' growth. You don't want to just say, sorry, Patrick, like, we're better with Javonte in the starting lineup. You're on the fringes now. They still need him to improve, and I think understanding the best way for him to progress and, like, putting him in the situation that's best, you know, most conducive for him to grow, I think being able to find that is going to be a really important thing. Very
true. I agree.
Somebody said, is Pat Will our 6th man in the comments? And then they were answered with, Pat's our 10th man.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, he's not going to be the 10th man. They just need to figure out the best place to put him.
Yeah.
And so far it's been they need him starting so that he can guard Giannis and Kawhi.
Yeah.
And,
right.
like, I don't think that he's there yet.
I don't either. But I think you raised a great point when you said he's better with point guard. Because, like I say a million times, point guards remove thinking. And one of the things we talk about is Patrick's, you can tell he's overthinking things when he's out there. So a great point guard like Dragic, putting, like you said, putting you in the right spot where you need to be, where you don't have to think about it, and he just delivers it to you, so you just react as soon as you get it. That's perfect for a guy like Patrick Williams. And Ayo doesn't need that. His mental's already super duper strong.
Well, he is that point guard. And I think, like, this is not a profound statement, but, like, point guards are super important. There's a reason. There's a reason why, like, Wendell Carter and Lauri Markkanen and, like, Zach LaVine, even to a certain extent, when he was playing before DeMar got there, and certainly Coby, like, they're not developing the way that they should because there's nobody that's teaching them where to be and how to get there. Sorry, Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn erasure in this podcast. But, I mean, it's really true. And I think the more I'm around them and the more that they talk about playing with Goran Dragic, the more I really feel like he's going to help them. And that was a flex.
That is a flex. That's definitely a flex.
Dre 5DS in the comments said, will you all give out free Bulls swag this year like you did on Outsiders? I still have my LaVine Cuisine shirt.
Ooh,
shout out to you.
Shout out.
Because those shirts are dope.
Yeah. Limited editions.
You should probably just keep your eye on the merch section of our allchgo.com website because we are working on a couple new Bulls-related T-shirt designs for this upcoming season.
And they're good.
And they're
the important thing.
I think they're going to be dope. So keep your eye out for those.
Yes.
What am I, an ATM of free shirts? Maybe go to the website.
Maybe I'll do a giveaway. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Tune in.
We'll see.
Tune in to find out.
That's all you got to do.
Tune in.
Tune right on in to find out. Keep hitting those likes. Getting them up.
We had another commenter earlier saying that they are refusing to delete their episodes of Bulls Outsiders from their downloaded podcast.
I saw that. I think that was my guy G Witt, the friend that I made it at Rib Fest earlier this summer. What up, G Witt?
Bonded over
Appreciate
smoked
you.
meats.
Yeah,
It's
and
awesome.
the Bulls.
Oh, of
most
course.
importantly,
Yeah, but
Bulls smoked meats.
Bulls smoked meats.
Priority 1A. Priority 1AA.
Which is
Not
which?
even B.
Which is which now?
Right. Now I'm confused. He loves
my
them both.
goodness.
He's got to have them, man. He's got to have them.
Got to have them.
We're gonna watch some Drew McIntyre, man.
I think there are some people in the comments here who are seriously talking about Javonte winning Most Improved Player. Do you guys think that is
Like
anything,
in the NBA?
Yes. Anything remotely close to reality is that happening? If he takes this starting job and puts a stranglehold on it, and he's giving you nights like tonight where it's like 17 points and ridiculous highlight reel dunks and 5 Javonte's defense.
If he scores 17 points a game on 7 of 8 shooting every single night this year, he will not just be MIP. He'll be like
An all-star?
first team all NBA. That would be like outrageous. He's basically playing the same role that he did last year. And I think we forget because of how bad everybody looked at the end of last season. This is not all that different than how good he was to start last year. I mean, same kind of thing happened. Billy put him in the starting lineup in preseason, and then Patrick moved back into it. But Javonte took that and ran with it. I think for MIP specifically, I mean, they give that to Ja Morant last year. Like the conversation about that award has totally changed, and it's now going to guys who are stars that turn into super duper stars.
Yeah, the whole convo. Yep.
Oh! Thank you, Mark K. I was just afraid that we weren't going to get one more snarky comment from you tonight. Glad Pat was untouchable in all those trades. He's going to be super valuable as a backup power forward. You can always rely on Mark K.
He's
being
awesome.
just a snarkerson.
He's going to be who he is, man.
I love it.
And that's what you got to be
Hi,
in
Mark.
this world.
Okay.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark. Would you care to
Throw the
expand on these trades, Mark, that you speak of? Are you talking about like the Jeremy Grant stuff that was getting thrown around a while ago? Because no thank you. Are you talking about like, well, he was deemed untouchable and that's why we don't have Rudy Gobert or Kevin Durant right now? Because you know as much as I know, Mark, that's nonsense. Pat was not the rate limiting factor in getting those players in those trades because the Bulls weren't going to give them 8 draft picks along with Pat Williams. I would seriously, I'm returning your snark with snark, but I would seriously like to know which trade or trades you thought the Bulls should have made that involved giving up Patrick Williams. Don't worry, I'll wait. I just don't think that they were there. These magical trades, these cure-all trades that Bulls fans love to talk about that exist only in the ether.
Look at Mark K. He takes the bait every time. Yes, Mark K.
It's not taking the bait. It's telling you that your snark was based on nothing but a mountain of hypotheticals and misguided assumptions.
And also erase the hate. How are you insulted by looking like Drew McIntyre? Looks like he spent his whole lifetime in a gym. Because Matt's all wrestler. That's why.
Yeah, also, not everyone thinks that look is a great look.
Ryan in the comments says a shirt that we should make is athletic green with Javonte Green dunking. I like that. Adaptogens.
I do like that.
Actually, I like that a lot.
What about just a shirt that says Javonte drinks adaptogens?
Oh, snap. I like both of those. Yes, I like those. No, for real. We should run with that.
Green.
I like both of those. Athletic Green and
write that
Javonte
down.
drinks adaptogens. Yo,
Just blew our mind, right?
yeah, for real, dog. No, for real. I'm dead serious. That's really awesome. Well, that's a lot of people watching it.
Barton chiming in with he's only 21, Mark. It's true. A fresh 21.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Do you like that? Do you like that, Mark? A fresh 21.
Watch The Room. It's a great movie.
No, but seriously, I mean, I don't even know if the Bulls have ever once in the past or today still do consider Pat untouchable. I don't think that they've ever said that.
I just knew they weren't going to trade him because they still wanted to know who he was. And I'm like, in his second year, they had no idea who he was yet. And they still were trying to figure it out. Hell, they're still trying to figure it out, who he is. So they didn't want to give him up that early and just give him away for something. I'm sure if it was Kevin Durant or something, and they're like, okay, we'll give you Kevin Durant if you give us Patrick Williams. Listen, I was like, put that man on anything smoking and get him out of there to over there to Brooklyn, all right?
Even a van if that's all we have.
You know what I'm saying? Take it. Like, get in there if ride. It's going to be full of gas. I promise you, man. I got your gas covered. But, yeah, like, if it comes down to that, yeah, he would have been out of here. But, yeah, Jeremy Grant and stuff like that, like, I wouldn't have done that either, honestly.
I mean, the only thing we know right now for sure is that they haven't traded Pat. And that could be because there wasn't any like return that they thought was good enough, or it could be because they deem him untouchable. But he's untouchable until they move him. And
untouchable until they move him.
That's where I was with like the whole offseason plan with Arturis at the exit interviews and after the draft. He kept on saying like continuity. And there's continuity until you make a deal, until you make a trade. So who knows what's going to happen, but Patrick's on the team until he's not.
Yeah.
And this
Same
has
with
been
Vooch.
lukewarm takes.
Lukewarm takes.
With your host, Will Gottlieb.
There's some optimism here from Jacob in the comments who said P will Is that
What is
what
that?
on
Pushing a
earth?
like. He's pushing.
Is
the
that
like
pushing
button.
a like button?
Yes, hit the like button, guys.
That's our wonderful producer and our friend Joey telling y'all to hit the like button. We've got 235 people watching and only
Hey, y'all.
62 likes. So let's get those
Yeah,
likes
let's
up
get
before we
those
get
up.
out of
Come
here.
on, we can do better than that.
Jacob saying P. Will hit his stride. I truly believe he's just being hesitant, being afraid of getting hurt again. He'll gain his confidence soon enough, I'm sure. I don't know if it's him
that's
playing
the
in
case.
fear of injury.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that.
I don't either.
Because we've seen hesitant Pat before injuries, happened to him last year.
Yeah, honestly, and I think back to that Minnesota game a lot because I said it then. He is a guy who feels it seems like he needs permission to be great. And in that Minnesota game, he knew it was nobody else out there. It was just him and it was Ayo, and he knew he wasn't coming out the game. All right, so I'm free. You know what I mean? It's nothing else out here. I can do it. And now when he gets on the team with, talented guys like DeMar and Zach, he's thinking, oh, man, well, they got to get theirs. They're the stars. Where do I fit in on this? No. That is not how it goes, bro. Like, you just say, yo, I'm Patrick Williams, and you go do what you do. You don't decide where everybody else fits in. That's what the coaching is for. They're going to decide where those guys fit in. And, yeah, you just have to go be yourself out there. But it just feels like that, man, that he needs that permission. And that's why I liked him with the second unit in that last game, how it looked, because without, guys like Zach and DeMar and those guys who he has to kind of, or in his mind, he feels he's got to cater to, he didn't feel like that in that second unit. And immediately when he came in the game, shots were going up. He's blocking shots, he's moving, he's doing those kind of things. So, yeah, man, let's see it. Let's see what he looks like.
But here's the thing for me is like he actually does know how he can be effective playing alongside those guys. It's difficult to do, but like you see, like I said, you see Javonte do it for 20 minutes tonight.
Right.
You cut, you defend,
Right.
you cut hard, you shoot and make your threes. Like they're not asking him to do all that much. Now, if they wanted a spot up 3-point shooter, they could have drafted like Trey Murphy or something. That would have been fine. He had like 7 threes tonight. He's gonna be great. But like I don't think they drafted him to be a spot up shooter. They drafted him to be more than that. I think that's the part that he's struggling with is just like what that next thing is. But what's disappointing and frustrating at times is that there is a part of it that he could do now, that he knows what it needs to be, and that part he's not doing. The addition of like becoming, somebody that can create with the ball in his hands, that's down the road. But like today, he needs to be a star role player. And the disappointing thing for me is that that's not what's happening.
And also, I want to know what happened to his cutting and slashing on the baseline, because he did that a lot.
He does it every once in a while, but it's just.
But his rookie season, I remember it standing out clearly, like him being on that baseline like all the time. And for some reason, it kind of disappeared, you know what I'm saying, to the second season and into the third one. Like, he just didn't do it as much. And I don't know why, you know what I mean?
I feel like the last time I saw it was when he cut baseline and tried to dunk on Mitchell Robinson and broke his wrist.
That's the reason
Maybe
why.
it is the injury.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it does all circle back to the injury phobia.
That's called a full circle.
Hey, I like
The
this
GOAT.
from Flip Side, and then we'll wrap up and get out of here. Pat needs to suck it up, Buttercup. Prove you deserve to start and earn that spot back. Use this as motivation. And we talked when during pregame we learned the news if this was a motivating tactic in some capacity by Billy Donovan, and it might be. And it might also mean that, Pat is best served for himself and best serves the team right now coming off the bench. Thank you, Joey.
Joey, I got a question for you. Do you know who that was smashing that like button?
No.
Okay. I was just asking.
Who is it?
Show it up again. I want Matt to see it because I know Matt knows
only
who
caught
it
a
is.
quick glimpse. I thought it was the owl from those old Tootsie Pop commercials.
Oh, no. No, it wasn't.
Not that.
It wasn't an owl. He can't see. You got to put it in the circle, Joey. There it is.
What is this?
Take a look at that.
It's Gallagher smashing a watermelon.
That is correct.
Do you know who Gallagher is, Joey?
He does not.
Oh, man.
Gallagher was a comedian. That's what he did. He smashed fruit at shows.
Goodness gracious.
I don't know Gallagher. Not trying to besmirch his name, but I don't know him.
Don't worry.
He's a win. He's a winner.
Sure.
All right, guys. Preseason finale on Tuesday against the Bucks.
Then what?
And then we've got
A week off.
some time off.
Time off.
Not we, the Bulls,
Right,
have some
correct.
time off.
Correct.
And then we got a regular season opener against Miami on the 19th.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys noticed this, speaking of the Bucks, but the NBA's official at NBA Twitter account yesterday wished a happy 27th birthday to a certain person.
I saw it, and I couldn't wait to see your response.
My
to
response was to quote tweet it and say, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah,
that's
about
exactly what I did.
Yeah.
Bucks On Tuesday, we will be here pregame at 6:30, tip-off at 7. Will, it is a home game, so you'll be reporting from the UC. Make sure you're following Will on Twitter at Will_Gottlieb. Still mad about it. BAWL, BAWL Sports is where you can find Big Dave. I am Bulls_Peck. We are CHGO_Bulls.
Oh, sorry. Just recorded a new podcast, New Ball on Bulls, with my co-founder of the Bigs, Terrence Tomlin. It was awesome. It was great. It'll be up either tonight or tomorrow morning. But
Hells
check it
out.
Yeah.
Also, check your CHGO Bulls podcast feeds for a fresh Bulls HQ with this guy, Will, and our pal, Mark K, who's I'm sure just going to be doing
just for Stamp of the Night.
Just doing all kinds of cartwheels of happiness, talking about how Pat Williams sucks and he's right and everyone else was wrong to believe in him. Looking forward to listening to that, Mark. Really looking forward to it. We will be back here, like I said, for pregame on Tuesday.
Hit the like button.
Hit that like button.
Hit it.
For Joey, for Will, for Big Dave, I'm Peck. Appreciate you. Love you, Bulls Nation. Until next time, see you. Be good.